What's going on, everybody? It's Game Unboxing Reviews here, and welcome back to another LEGO Marvel's Avengers news update. Now, this video is of course a roundup of all the news that was announced at the panel yesterday, and let me tell you right now, it is extremely cool. We've got new character abilities, we've got new characters, and we've got some awesome new screenshots. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so first off I'm going to be talking about a very cool new addition to the Hulk in the game, and obviously you can see that from the picture right here. But basically, if you remember from a previous video I did, I talked about how Arthur Parsons has been teasing heavily that the Hulk will be able to scale buildings in the open world. Now, he didn't actually mention that at the panel, but what he did mention was that the Hulk can now effortlessly super jump from building to building. So basically, if you've seen like the Incredible Hulk, Ultimate Destruction games and stuff like that, that's what you can now do. You can jump around the city, fighting crime and everything. You can transform into Bruce Banner. And honestly, I would say that you could probably climb buildings as well, because if they're wanting to make that whole feeling of being able to jump around the city and get to anywhere you see, I'm sure he'll probably be able to, you know, climb walls. But the great thing about this is they also showed gameplay of the Hulk jumping around the city, and it's been getting some really positive comments, so that's really awesome. Sadly, I haven't found it yet. I hope someone's maybe recorded it, but at the moment I still have no idea where it is. If nobody's recorded it, that's a bit of a shame, because I so want to see it, because it just sounds so cool, just jumping around the city. That was one of the things I thought was missing from the first game, you know, just being able to jump around the city, because Iron Man could fly, Spider-Man could web swing, but Hulk couldn't jump very high. So it's great to see that they've added that, because that is going to make such a big impact in the open world. Alright, so if you remember from the IGN livestream, we saw there was two new Iron Man suits which we didn't know the names of yet. There was a black one with a grey faceplate, and then there was also a black one with a very bright silver faceplate. Sadly, we don't know the name of that one just yet, but we do now know that the black one with the grey faceplate is actually the Mark 16, aka Nightclub Armor, so that is really cool news. Funny thing is though, in the movie, that suit is actually red and gold, but in the artwork, it's black, and obviously, you know, it's got grey faceplate as well. What I think they probably did was they probably had a change of heart during production of the movie. They thought, you know, let's just make it red and gold. We might still see, you know, the red and gold one as well, but for now, this is the only version. But yeah, this is really cool news. Arthur confirmed this after the panel on Twitter yesterday. He just answered a question, and yeah, this is really cool. Another thing to mention about Iron Man in the game, though, is it has been confirmed that the HUD wheel that we're seeing is a very rough version. In the final game, it will look so much better, and they're really excited about showing off the final version, because they've said it's looking really cool, so I can't wait to see how it looks in the final game. Alright, so next up, of course, we're going to be talking about the new characters that were announced during the panel, and the first character we're going to be talking about is Wiccan. Now, Wiccan from the comics, he has a ton of powers and abilities. He has, for example, teleportation, telekinesis, telepathy, healing, flight. He's got tons of abilities. If you just look up the character and read about him, he can do some pretty cool stuff. And what I think is great about this character is I didn't really know much about him until reading about him. I think I've seen him quite a few times, but I've never really looked into him as such. So it's great to see that they can still add unknown characters to this game, because LEGO Marvel had so many well-known and unknown characters. You think, how are they going to top it? But they always do, and they always will. Alright, so next up we have another character, and this one is called Detroit Steel Armor, also known as Lieutenant Doug Johnson III. And this character is extremely cool. First off, let me just start off by saying I've never heard of this character, but now I want to know everything about him. I mean, if you look at the pictures online, this guy is awesome. I can't wait to play as him. And also, some of the abilities that his armor actually has includes a chainsaw mounted on the left gauntlet, a cannon mounted on the right, and a chest beam. I mean, wow, this must be one heck of a character. I bet in-game he is so much fun to play as. I hope they did add the chainsaw, because I think Frankenstein had a chainsaw or something like that. It was some sort of weapon like that in LEGO Batman 3 Beyond Gotham. So hopefully they can make Detroit Steel Armor this huge big figure with a chainsaw and a mounted gun and everything. It all sounds awesome. I mean, this character sounds super cool. Now, I don't know a lot about this character, obviously, but please let me know in the comments section below if he's actually able to get out of the suit or if he's stuck inside it, because if so, then it would be a great way to, you know, allow this character to be able to suit up, so you could get out of the suit and just walk around as Lieutenant Doug Johnson III. I think that would be pretty cool, but, you know, if not, then it doesn't really matter. Alright, so now we're moving on to some screenshots for the game. Now obviously there are a few characters that I haven't talked about yet, but basically they did actually show screenshots of those ones, so I thought I would just do it in this order. But yes, basically the Hulkbuster is officially confirmed as a playable armor in the game. So in the final game, you'll be able to open up the HUD wheel at any time as Tony Stark, suit up into the Hulkbuster, and just run around the city doing whatever you want. It's completely up to you. So yes, you can absolutely do that, and that is amazing. And it looks amazing. The funny thing is about this figure, I didn't like it at first. I didn't like the design of the Hulkbuster in Lego form, but now I love it. In game, it looks great, and I'm sure it's even cooler when you're running around with it. I mean, wow. Another thing to mention, well, a few things to mention actually, is that in the open world now, obviously we know there's going to be random crimes like bank robberies and car thieves and things like that, which is great, but we also now know that there's going to be a lot more pedestrians walking around the streets, which is really cool, and judging by from this picture, I think there's going to be a day and night cycle, because look at the time of day, it's very different to the previous game, so that's really interesting. And the last thing to mention is on the very far right, we can see it says New York Bulletin. Now, New York Bulletin is actually a newspaper in Daredevil, the Netflix series. So, are we going to see something with Daredevil or not? I mean, that would be super cool. I'm not sure if that poster was in the first game, but if it wasn't, and we get Daredevil content, that would be amazing. I really hope that happens. Now, next up, I know a lot of people are going to be very happy about this character. This is, of course, Sam Wilson as Captain America. So not only do we get to play as Falcon from the Winter Soldier, we also get to play as the current version of him from the comics. He's got the wings, he's got the shield, he looks amazing. I'm so excited to play as this character because he looks amazing. We can also see a very brief glimpse at the Avengers Tower in the very far right, which looks pretty cool. And also, if you notice carefully, you can see some of the buildings are really low resolution. Obviously, the game is far from finished, so if you're worried about graphics or anything right now, please don't, because it'll be completely different in the final game. All these little bugs here that you can see, these really low resolution buildings, that's not going to be in the final game, definitely not. Here we have another really cool comic book character, and this one is named America Chavez. Now, this character in the comics has some pretty cool looking abilities. For starters, she's got superhuman speed, superhuman strength, invulnerability. She's got some really cool abilities. Now, obviously, you know, again, we don't know if all of those will be in the game, but again, it just gives you a rough overview of how she might play. But her design in the game looks great. I really like it. She's a really cool looking minifigure. We can also see some cars have crashed. Maybe that's a random crime. Maybe something happens. Maybe that's like, you know, one of the car thieves. You're chasing them and then they crash into another car and they get stuck and then they get out of the car and maybe you have to chase after them or something like that. That would be great. I'm really excited about seeing the random crimes in action because I still can't believe they're in the game. The only thing I'm worried about is if, you know, you have to do them when you see them and if they go away. The only thing I really want to know is if they're optional, which is very important, and they're unlimited even after 100%, because what you want in an open world is you want to always be able to come back and have something to do. So if there's always random crimes going on that are optional and unlimited, then that would be perfect. Now this is extremely awesome news. Yes, Brock Rumlow aka Crossbones is playable in LEGO Marvel's Avengers. Look at this guy. Oh man, he looks so good in LEGO form, seriously. Of course, the reason they've added this character is because he's one of the main characters in Captain America Civil War, or should I say one of the main villains. But it's great to see that he's going to be playable in this game because he was one of the characters I was hoping to be in the game. I never said it in the videos or something, but I do remember when we got the first set pictures for Captain America Civil War, I think I sent them a request saying it'd be great to see, you know, Crossbones in the game, so it's nice to see he's here. Also, of course, you know, this game has a lot of Marvel Cinematic Universe content, so since we have Crossbones, maybe there's an alternative costume you can unlock with Brock Rumlow from Captain America Winter Soldier. We'll just have to wait and see. Now, next up, yes, your eyes do not deceive you. This is Iron Stan. I'm not kidding you. So basically, at any time in the game, just like Tony Stark, Stan Lee can suit up and become Iron Stan at any time. This is so cool because, you know, I've been requesting suit ups for such a long time with LEGO Marvel Superheroes and LEGO Marvel's Avengers, and now that it's actually happened, it's like they've times it by a billion. You think of a cool idea and they just make it so much better than you could possibly imagine, and honestly, I just can't stop saying thank you to TT Games because they're doing everything you want. You've got the Hulk super jumps, you've got the random crimes, the suit ups, you've got Stan Lee back and he's doing cameos and everything. It's huge. This game is massive, and can I just say right now that his design is brilliant. Seriously, it's got an old-fashioned Iron Man look and everything, and the best part about it, I think, is it's got a mustache on the faceplate. I mean, that is pure genius. Wait, you didn't think that was it, did you? Oh no, this is TT Games we're talking about. Yes, not only can Stan Lee become the Iron Stan at any time, he can also suit up into the Stan Buster. I mean, this thing is amazing. It's even got his glasses and everything, and the mustache, oh man, this is brilliant. It's got a pencil on the top, and I think that's a lamp or something. I mean, wow. Really, just wow. It's like a huge version of the figure from LEGO Marvel Superheroes. It's brilliant. Apparently, he also has a built-in typewriter, and I've heard that he actually uses that as a weapon. I haven't seen that yet, but if that is true, that is so cool. I mean, you think, how are they going to top Stan Lee from the first game? Because he was such a cool character in that game. And one of my favorites, actually, because he could do so much. And now, I think he's even better. I mean, he might even have more powers and abilities that we don't know about yet. But for now, Iron Stan and Stan Buster, great. It's just such cool stuff, seriously. Alright, so before I end the video, I just have 4 more exciting things to talk about. So basically, after the panel ended, Agent M tweeted that apparently he just heard we're going to get Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel, Jane Foster as Thor, and Kamala Khan as Miss Marvel. Yes, all these characters are coming to LEGO Marvel's Avengers. This is awesome news. Now, sadly, we didn't get a screenshot of them. Hopefully, we'll get that maybe in the coming weeks and months or something. But this is great. Really nice choices. I can totally believe those as well because, of course, obviously, you know, Carol Danvers is going to be the Captain Marvel in the Captain Marvel movie, which is awesome. So obviously Marvel want to, you know, they're going to want to be able to boost that popularity for that character before the movie comes out. Jane Foster as Thor is also doing really well in the comics, and of course Kamala Khan at Miss Marvel is also doing really well. So it makes perfect sense for these characters to be in the game. And if I had to choose which one I'm more excited about, it would be Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel, because Carol Danvers is so cool, and it's going to be awesome to be able to play as her in a, you know, her most recent costume in the Marvel universe. Now, yes, I did say 4 more things to talk about before ending the video, so basically, don't get too excited about this because I'm not entirely sure if this means anything, but during the panel, a lot of requests were shouted out, and Greg Miller, who was hosting the panel, he actually tweeted Arthur Spider-Gwen. And Arthur actually retweeted that. Now, I'm not sure if that means anything, but, you know, it's interesting that he retweeted it. Why would he retweet it if it wasn't possible? And Spider-Gwen is such a big character in the comics at the moment. She's got her own comic series, I believe, and she's awesome. So I honestly would believe that. I think Spider-Gwen will be in the game. And, you know, if they don't, then I would love to see a Spider-Verse DLC pack with Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man 2099, Spider-Man Noir. You know, there's tons of possibilities with Spider-Man. And also, of course, you know, if this is true, if Spider-Gwen is going to be in the game, then maybe that leaves hope for Peter Parker or Miles Morales or, you know, Miguel O'Hara. There's totally tons of options. This is all of the Marvel Universe. This is celebrating all of the Avengers, and obviously Spider-Man has been an Avenger in the comics, so do I think we might see him? I'm starting to believe there's a very high possibility, but, you know, we will just have to wait and see. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for this video. I mean, honestly, I think TT Games have knocked it out of the park at San Diego Comic-Con this year. Seriously, they have nailed it. This game is absolutely massive. The amount of characters, the huge open world and everything, it's huge. The great thing is, I don't think you could get bored of this game. You know, 1 minute you could be walking down the street as Tony Stark, you see a bank robbery in place, you suit up into the Silver Centurion, and then you go stop the crime. Are you bored? Okay, turn into Bruce Banner, Hulk out, jump around the city for a bit, and then go fight some crime and smash some cars. I mean, there's so many things you can do in this game. It's huge. It really is. And we haven't even seen how Hulk jumps around the city yet or anything like that. We haven't seen any of the other hub worlds, which were apparently teased at the, you know, at the panel. He said that in the Age of Ultron movie, it wasn't just New York City, it was other locations, and they teased that you might be able to go back to them. So again, this game is massive, and I seriously cannot wait to finally play it. Alright guys, so I want to thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for lots more videos real soon, and as always, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.